Hi, today we're going to deep dive into the world of Rosemary's Baby. It's a 60s film, and many of you have already watched this film if you haven't heard it already. This film is something which actually had a huge impact in my childhood, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the world, we're going to talk about the people, the environment, and is this just all a novel or it does have some of the reality behind it? Let's get started into this video. This film is based upon a novel by Ira Irvin. It's written and directed by Roman Polanski. The film starts off by a young couple named Mary and Guy checking out an apartment. As the leasing agent giving them the tour, he was telling them that this apartment was previously rented by an old woman. She was 89-year old and she passed away in that apartment. As he was giving them the tour, he discovered that the entrance of the cellar is being blocked by a cupboard. As we know that previously this apartment was owned by an 89-year-old woman, it's really hard for even them to move that cupboard, yet alone that woman in her 90s. After that, they just went away, and as they were going back home, husband said that this is a very expensive apartment, to which wife said that she really liked it and she really want to have that apartment because it's spacious, it's economical, it's in a good location. Anyways, they finally bought that apartment. They brought in some utensils and some food to have at night. As they were eating, they made love, right? And the next day, his wife, Mary, she went into the basement to do the laundry. This is where she met Terry, the girl. And as they were having the conversation, Terry discovers that Mary's husband is Guy, who is an actor. Not really famous, but just an actor. While Terry and Mary are at it in the basement, they both agreed that this basement is giving them the creeps. And because of that, they are both going to do the laundries together from now onwards. This is where Mary discovers that Terry is wearing what she called as a lucky charm. And Mary went ahead and tried to smell that, and it stinks. Now, on the other day, Guy and Mary were in their bedroom. This is where they hear someone singing on the other side of the apartment, which they didn't give it a lot of thought. As they went outside, they saw that people are gathered around their building, and as Mary approached and tried to see what's going on, she saw Terry, the same girl that she met in the laundry room. She's dead right in front of her on the ground, and she's wearing the same necklace. This is where we saw Mr. and Mrs. Castowitz. As they're going towards their apartment building, they saw people are gathered around near their apartment window, and cops are there too. And then cops told Mr. and Mrs. Castowitz that their adopted daughter has passed away, which made Mrs. Castowitz very sad. But Mr. Castowitz said that she was always sad. Every 3 weeks she was sad, which is a very strange thing to say, especially given the fact that their adopted daughter has passed away. Now, on the other night, as Guy and Mary was in their apartment, they were greeted by Mr. and Mrs. Castowitz. As they opened the door, the first thing Mrs. Castowitz said is, "Hey, you guys, do you have any children?" Which is a very strange thing to say. To which Mary said that they don't, but Mary wishes to have not one, not two, but three children. This is where Mrs. Castowitz told Mary that the old woman before them was a good old friend of hers. And then Mr. and Mrs. Castowitz invited them to the supper tonight, which they agreed. The next day, Guy went to work, and as he came back, he told Mary that he did not get the part that he was hoping for, and it made him very sad. To which Mary gave him the sandwich and it told him that they're going to the dinner tonight, to which Guy wasn't very happy about, but eventually they went to Mr. and Mrs. Castevet's place. This is where they know that his name is Roman Castevet, and he went to all over the place. He went to all over the world. He traveled, and then Roman discovered that Guy, he's a struggling actor and he's not getting a lot of work. The next day, as Guy is at work, there was a knock on the door. As Mary opened the door, here stands Mrs. Castevet, and she brought a friend of hers. And as they entered, her friend gave her that necklace. It's the same necklace that Terry was wearing when she passed away. And then Mrs. Castevet told Mary that this is a lucky charm, to which Mary didn't say nothing and she accepts that necklace. And then Mary asked, "What's inside of it?" To which Mrs. Castevet said that inside of it is an herb called tennis root. Mary then accepts that necklace and she wore it. Or I would say that Mrs. Castevet insists Mary to wear that necklace. Now, do you do you see that there is something wrong here? Their daughter passed away and they're having fun. They were having toast, they're drinking, they're celebrating. Something is not right here. And we're going to get to that later. What is tennis root? Is it really an herb? We're going to get to that later. But as Guy came back to the apartment, Mary told him that she receives a necklace from Mrs. Castevet. And she also said that the necklace stinks. To which Guy said that if you've accepted that present, you have to wear it. Which is kind of a strange thing to tell your wife, especially if you don't even know where that necklace came from, or is it a good thing or a bad thing. But anyway, as they're in their apartment, Guy receives a call and he learns that the guy, Donald, who got the role, he got into an accident and he got blind. And then he got offered that same role that he wanted. He jumped on the offer and accepts it. To which Mary noticed that Guy is changing. He's a lovely guy, but now he's not showing any remorse or showing any sadness to the news that his fellow man got blind. But anyways, then Mary went outside and wanted to do some groceries. As she came back, Guy was there and he told Mary that they're ready to have not one, not two, but three babies, to which Mary welcomed. Now, as they are getting ready, that there was a knock on the door, and then Mrs. Castevet gave Guy two mouse cakes, which is kind of strange that once she gave him the mouse cake, she left. She did enter the apartment, and that's the first time, because every time she comes to their apartment, she always comes inside, but this time she didn't. Anyways, so as they started to have that cake, Mary noticed that the cake, it tastes like chalk. It had an undertone to it, which Guy did notice, and he started saying like, you were just, I'm not I'm not feeling anything. It's a very perfect cake. But anyway, as he went to the kitchen, Mary somehow didn't like the cake and she threw it in the dustbin. As she was throwing it in the dustbin, she started to feel a bit dizzy and lightheaded. And Guy noticed. and he supported Mary and wanted to ask, "Hey Mary, what's going on?" To which Mary said that I got a bit dizzy. So as Guy holding Mary, he placed her in the bed. And this is where Mary started having a dream. And in that dream, we saw Mary is on the boat, and then we saw a painting of Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. Then we saw Mary lying naked, and she's surrounded by old naked people. And amongst those old naked people was also Mr. and Mrs. Castavitz. And Mrs. Castavitz was saying to somebody that as long as Mary ate that mouse cake, she can't hear us, she can't see us, she is pretty much dead. Then we saw the devil. And then on the next scene, devil was having his way with Mary. And then Mary woke up. And there were some scars and nail scratches on the back of Mary. Mary then said, "What happened to me?" And Guy said that you passed out and I had fun with you as she was passed out. Mary got furious, like, "Hey, Guy, I know that you and I are wife and husband. Can't you freaking wait for a day or two?" But anyway, then Mary went to Dr. Bill, her doctor, and Doc told Mary after running some tests that she's pregnant. She got very happy. She told Guy, and then later Mr. and Mrs. Castavitz knew that she's pregnant. Then Mr. and Mrs. Castavitz told Mary that, "Do you have a doctor?" To which Mary said, "Yeah." And then she says, "Don't even worry about it. We're going to give you the best doctor." And she told Mary to go and visit Dr. Saperstein. Now, Mary visits Saperstein, and then Saperstein told Mary that don't take any multivitamins or any vitamins that Dr. Bill advised, because pills are bad, they expires, they don't have the good potency because they sits on the shelves for 6 months and then they lost their potency. And he recommended to get a drink from Mrs. Castavitz because she had an herbarium. It's a freaking hard word to say. She accepts, and then she went outside and went to a salon, and she went back to Guy and she had shorter boycott hair. And then Mary told Guy that she is having pain in her belly. Mary with the pain visits Dr. Saperstein, the same doctor that Mr. Castavitz advised him to go to. And as she went there, she told the doctor about her pain, and the doctor said that it's nothing but just the regular expansion of the pelvic, and it can be tackled by taking regular aspirin. To which Mary said that she's afraid that it could be ectopic pregnancy, to which doctor said that you got to stop reading books. I think books are giving you a lot of ideas and you had to throw them out of the window, which is kind of a strange thing coming from a doctor. But anyway, then as Mary is in her apartment, one of her old friends, Edward Hutchins, came by, and as Mary opened the door and Hutchins saw Mary, he got very surprised. And then he talked about her looks, what he thought about her looks, and she lost a lot of weight, to which Mary said that this is very normal because she's pregnant and it's the very early stages of the pregnancies. But anyways, as they're sitting together having a conversation, the door rang, and once Mary opened the door, here stands Mr. Castavitz. Perfect timing, right? Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. Anyway, Hutch and Mary and Roman Castovitz sat down, and then Hutchins mentioned about the weight loss, and then Roman Castovitz said that this is very normal, and she's very early at the stages of this pregnancy, so this is very normal. To which Hutchins didn't agree a lot to, but anyway. And then Mary mentioned that Mr. and Mrs. Castovitz are giving her the drink that has tennis root in it, and she's drinking it every day. To which Hutchins got skeptical, and Hutchins said that he's gonna look for tennis root in the encyclopedia because he doesn't know what that is. And then Mary also mentioned about the necklace that she's wearing that's also be given to her by Mr. and Mrs. Castovitz. And as he went ahead and tried to smell it, it stinks, right? And he asked for what the hell is tennis root again to Mr. Hutchins, to which he said that it's an herb, yeah. But Hutchins said that I think it's a mold or fungus. But anyways, as they were talking about it, Hutchins wanted to go, and he said that I'm gonna go, and he left. And then as they're both sitting on the table, Mary and Hutchins, she mentioned that the necklace has been wearing had a lot of bad smell, which Hutchins can agree to. And then Mary also mentioned that Hutchins knew that something is wrong and something is odd. But as they're having the conversation, Mary told Hutchins that as Roman Castovitz was entering the apartment, he had a pierced ear, to which Hutchins said he also had a pierced eye. That goes to show that Hutchins observed and he noticed the kind of things that Mr. Castovitz or Roman Castovitz was observing and picking up from these conversations. And then in the end, Mary also mentioned that her husband gotten too close to them, and sometimes Mary felt like that these people are a little bit too friendly or a little bit too helpful. As Mary and Bill Hutchins are talking, Guy came in and he said he was very busy and with all of his BS. And then Bill excused and he wanted to go. And Guy went to the cellar, tried to grab his clothes, coat, and gloves. And as he came by, he told Bill that he couldn't find his another glove. He only found one of his glove, which is kind of strange. And Bill thought that he might have left it somewhere else, and he left. Now, as he left, Mary told Guy what Hutchins thought about her appearance, and she said that Hutchins told me that you are looking rough, to which Guy said, good old Hutchie, spreading cheers everywhere he goes. He's a professional creep, to which Mary disagrees with, which came out of nowhere. Now, later that night, as Mary was in pain, Hutchins called and wanted to meet Mary and try to give her an important news, to which Mary agreed. And the next day, as Mrs. Castovitz was in her apartment, she said that, are you going to have that drink? You're not drinking that drink? To which Mary said, "No, I will not going to drink this thing that you gave me. Instead, I'm gonna go out, so get the heck out of my apartment." To which Mrs. Kastovitz obliged. Now, as he went to the teleboat and she waited for Mr. Hutchins, and then she called, and as she called in, one of the friends of Mr. Hutchins called, picked up, and she said that Hutchins got ill and he is in deep coma. Strange, right? Now, as Mary is coming back, she met Mrs. Kastovitz, and upon asking, she said that I'm just going towards the shop to do the Christmas shopping again. Very coincidence, right? Everything is happening out of the blue. And then Mary started feeling lightheaded and she tried to get fainted, to which Mrs. Kastovitz said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna ditch my Christmas shopping, and you know what? I'm gonna take you to the apartment," as opposed to taking her to the doctor. Again, very strange, right? Anyways, now she's in her apartment looking at the TV, trying to process what the heck is going on and all around her. And then she went to the doctor again. Mary went to the doctor and she said that the wire inside me is getting tighter and tighter, to which the doctor said that's normal. Again, doctor had pretty much the same response to everything that's happening to Mary, which is freaking, he is the worst doctor I could ever imagine. Like, if you're gonna come to that doctor with pain in the neck, you are freaking dying, right? You can't breathe. Yeah, to that doctor, it's very easy fix, nothing to worry about. Such a lousy doctor. But anyway, then they met in the apartment that had Mary, that doctor, Mary's friend, Mr. Katsevitz, and the husband, and they have celebrating this New Year party, the New Year of 1966, to which Roman Kastovitz said, the New Year or the Year One. Why would he call it Year One? It's 1966, right? I want you to hold on to it because in the end, all of this is going to start making sense. Now, the next day, Mary started eating raw meat and she noticed it and she felt terrible. And then she started reading book again that doctor wanted her to throw out. This is where Mary started changing. Mary then invited some of her old friends, and as she was talking about planning to arrange this big party, Mrs. Kastovitz arrived yet again in her apartment, and she wanted Mary to drink that she made, and she's been giving her like forever, ever since she got pregnant. To which Mary declined, and Mary said, "Hey, I know that this drink is very important for me, but I am not interested right now. I'm throwing away a party and we are not allowing anybody else, just a small circle of our friends." To which Mrs. Kastovitz really forced Mary that I'll stay, I'll help you out, to which Mary scooted her out, which I'm glad. And then Mary told the guy that the party she's throwing will have below 60 people because ever since she got into that apartment, she has been around people who are older. She's not having fun with people of the same age, which I'm glad. And then Mr. and Mr. Katsevitz know Hutchins, right? Clear, plain, and simple. And then Mary started having cramps when she's in the party, and then she started crying, to which the girls, her friends, saw Mary in that bad shape and they locked the door of the kitchen, leaving her dickhead husband outside, which I freaking despise. If I could see that piece of shit, I'm gonna smash his freaking face. But anyways, and then girl said, "What the heck is going on with you?" And she said, "I have cramps and pain since November," which surprised everybody. What the heck? And then she said that I am afraid that I'm gonna have a miscarriage. And she started crying, and then girl suggested to see another doctor, and she said, no, 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 I have a good doctor that Mr. and Mr. Katsevitz advised. He is the best. To which the girl said that you are in pain, right? You've been having pain ever since, and it's a sign of danger. Something is wrong with you. Go ahead and see any other doctor, literally any other doctor other than that sadistic Saperstein, right? To which Mary agreed. Now, as party's over, Mary told her dickhead husband that she's not drinking that drink and something is wrong with her, to which, again, guy got pissed off. He started saying that those girls are filling your mind and told you not to drink. This is bad. And in the midst of this drama, he literally said, "It's not fair to Dr. Saperstein." Like, what the are you talking about, you piece of shit? To which Mary got furious and she flipped and she said, "What about being fair to me, you cocksucker?" And in the midst of things, she also told that the drink was made of eggs and sugar and milk, and the guy just stood there hearing, and he's very freaking pissed. I don't know why. But Mary then told Guy that her pain has stopped. And she also said that the baby is alive. Mary then felt relieved, and then Mary and her husband started preparing for their baby. Now, Mary wanted to tell Hutchins about her baby, but she got informed that Hutchins is no longer in this world and he passed away. Then Mary went to Hutchins' funeral. This is where she met Hutchins' daughter and son-in-law, and also there she went and met Hutchins' friend, the same girl who told Mary that he is ill and he's in coma. And as she was leaving in the car, she told Mary that Hutchins came back, he got conscious for a second, and he gave girl the book that she wants him to pass her that book. Mary took that book, and as she was leaving, she said, "Anagram," to which Mary said, "What do I make of it? Is that the name of the hospital? What is that had to do with anything. And she said she do not know, and you go ahead and you figure it out on your own. And she left. Then Mary went back to the apartment, and as she opened the book, then Mrs. Castovitz came by again. I don't know how many coincidences do we have to encounter in this film. I think it's lousy acting, or I would say lousy story writing, to be honest with you. But anyway, she came by, and as she gave, it's a regular milk for once, to Mary, she drank it all, and as she was drinking, Mrs. Castovitz noticed that she's holding a book, and she grabbed that book from Mary as she was drinking the milk, and she saw an address and told Mary that she recognized that address. But anyways, and then she scooped out, and as she went away, Mary unwrapped that book, and the title of the book says, "All of them witches." As she was going through the pages, she saw the line underlined that says, "Fungus called devil's pepper." As Mary read the title of the book, she talked to herself that witches, there are no witches, really. And she was in disbelief. And then she started to process all of it, and she didn't know what to make of it, because if you go back and you think about it, a guy on a deathbed gave you that book had to be very important, right? It had to have the answer, especially if he told you that he would tell you what the heck is tennis root. Remember that, right, in the previous scene? But anyway, she's processing, and one name keeps coming up, and it's underlined in that book, and that name is Stephen Mercado. And what she did, she took out the scrambler game, and she tried to piece out all of that name in one line, and then as she rearranged those letters, you know what it made? It made Roman Castovitz. She's blown away. And then as the guy came back, she told Guy that Roman is Adrian Mercado's son, and Roman Castovitz is Stephen Mercado's rearranged. She told him that these people are witches, they're doing rituals, they sacrifice babies, and that's the same sound that we were hearing at the very start of the film when they were in the bedroom and they were hearing in chants and singing from someone at the other side of the apartment, right? That they didn't notice and they didn't account for. But of course, Guy is not gonna believe her, right? And then they went to Saperstein, and Saperstein got surprised. He was like, "What the heck? That's not. This is very insidious," and he cannot believe that this is what's been happening. And then he said in the end that they are going to leave Mr. and Mrs. Castovitz, and you have to be very comfortable. That's all right. And then Mary came back to the apartment, and she couldn't find the book that she was reading. And Guy told her that he threw away that book in the garbage, which made Mary agitated and very furious. Now, Guy being Guy, the kind of a person he is, and we all know what kind of a person he is, he's a freaking dickhead. I personally think that from the inside, Guy knew that whatever Mary's telling him is the truth, but someone is not allowing Guy to believe whatever Mary is saying. You gotta trust her or believe her. And we're going to know who that person is by the end of the video. So for that, I appreciate that you're still watching this video. Anyways, then Mary went outside and she crossed the road and she took her locket out of her neck and she threw it in the gutter. And she went to the bookstore and she bought 2 books on the topics of witchcraft. and one of the book is Book of Ceremonial Magic. She then reads, and it states in that book that in some cults it's believed that you have to have the belongings of the person that you want to put the cast, or you gotta cast the spell on. It's very important. And if you don't have the belongings, you cannot cast that spell. Now, Mary then called Donald, the same guy who had an accident and got blind, who got the role. Remember that at the start of the video? Now, she connected Doll and she talked to Donald about this. And she discovers that they both exchange their ties. And you know what that means, right? Donald's tie got to Guy, and what he did was he put the cast on Donald to get the role, and that's exactly what he got. He got the role, which is a breakthrough in his entire career. I hope not, but we're going to come to that. Now, as she got all of that, she got startled. She don't know what to do because she know exactly what the guy is doing, and what the guy is doing is he put the spell on Donald to get the role so he can have a career. Now, what do you think he is losing instead? He's losing his family, he's losing Mary, and he's losing his unborn child. That's what the speculation is in Mary's mind. But anyways, as Mary found out, Mary took the money and she went to the Dr. Saperstein. As she was sitting in the reception, the receptionist saw Mary wearing that necklace and she said, "That's the same necklace Dr. Saperstein is wearing, and that stinks, right? It smells bad." To Mary's surprise, she know what the heck happened and she know what to do. And then she thought that everybody is in on it. Doctors, people in the apartment, it's a freaking cult, right? So what she did, she left that clinic and she ran to the phone booth and she called Dr. Bill and she told Dr. Bill that I want you to deliver the baby because I don't have time. My husband is in on it and they want to sacrifice my baby. Please help me. To which Dr. Bill agreed on after Mary begged him on the call. And then she went to Dr. Bell's clinic and then she told Dr. Bill everything. She told that her husband is in on it. She told her that the other doctor is in on it and they just want to sacrifice my baby, so please help me deliver that baby. And the doctor said, "Okay, I want you to go there and I want you to take a rest and then everything was going to be all right." And to which she got relieved, and as she was lying on that couch, you know who came through the door? Dr. Bill brought Dr. Saperstein and his frickin' husband. To which Mary got startled. She don't know what to do. And they took her away from Dr. Bill. As Mary woke up, the doctor told Mary that the baby was dead because a lot of complications and the position of the baby was wrong. To which Mary screamed that you are lying. And then husband and Doc tried to calm her down, and then Doc injected her the sedative once again. And Mary, she wake up and she asked the husband to took off his shirt because in that book it literally states that once a person is joined the cult, he had to have a symbol somewhere on the body. But as Guy took off his shirt, there are no signs. To which Mary had to rethink and reevaluate that she probably be seeing stuff and making all of that stuff, and there is nothing, there is no reality in what she's thinking. But anyways, the next night Mary started hearing a crying baby. And then she told the maid that I'm hearing a baby crying, and to which maid said, no, I'm not hearing anybody. And Mary got suspicious. She took the knife and she knew exactly where to look. She went to the cellar and she just removed all the cloths, and there was a passage that leads to another side of the apartment. She took the knife, she went through that passage, and on the right side she was seeing this big painting, and in that big painting the scene is of at night, the sky is all red, and there's a big castle. Now, as she's passing by, she saw a big room, and in that big room there were people, and in amongst those people was Mr. and Mrs. Kastovitz, a Chinese guy, a lot of other people, and she also saw Guy, his husband, there. Now, and what's important is she was also seeing a black cradle, and there was a cross upside down hanging there. And as she approached that cradle, she saw a baby, but not just any ordinary baby with devil eyes. And she screamed, what have you done to him? To which Guy, his husband, is standing there, and he face down in regret, to which Roman Kastovitz said, Guy is not the father. He said that Satan is his father. He said he came up from the hell and begot a son of mortal women. They all started shouting, Hail Satan, Hail Satan. Roman Kastovitz said, Satan is his father, and his name is Adrian. He shall overthrow the might and lay waste their temple. He shall redeem the despised and wreak vengeance in the name of the burned and the tortured. Hail Adrian, hail Adrian. Hail Satan, hail Satan. Mrs. Kastovitz said, he chose you out of all of the world. Out of all of the women in the world, he chose you. He arranged things because he wanted you to be the woman of the Satan's child. Mary screamed, no, it can't be. And then Mary dropped the knife she was holding. Go look at his hands, his feet. She then got a vision of the devil eyes as she was passed out in the mid of the movie. Roman Kastovitz said, God is dead. Satan lives. The year is won. And now we know why. Because the year starts with the born of the Antichrist. He then said, you don't have to join. Just be the mother of your child. Minnie and Laura are too old, and we know what that means. That means they cannot be mother. They cannot feed that child because they are too old for this. Then comes his dickhead husband. What if we had the baby and you lost it? It would have been the same thing, right? Look, we got so much in return. To which Mary responds by spitting on his frickin' face. And then baby started crying, and everyone is watching, and that old maid tried to stop the baby from crying, but he's still crying, and then Mary, she started rocking that cradle, and you know what? Baby stopped crying. Now, while everyone is watching, the film ends with the same building apartment they were in to the aerial shot of it. Now, what do I make of it? There is a lot to unpack, but I think you all got the gist of it. This is a story of a cult who recruit people for their own benefits, and they do all kind of rituals, pretty much the kind of rituals that has been going on in Jeffrey Epstein's parties. They were doing rituals, they were doing sacrifices of the children, and I've covered all of that in my previous video, so I want you to go back and check that video. that video was about a film that everybody might have watched. I'm talking about Eyes Wide Shut from Stanley Kubrick. Anyways, now Stannis root. Stannis root is a symbol, it's an herb in that novel of Ara Irvin, and it's the herb that actually gives power and it transmits the power to the person. It's kind of a spell hanging in that locket and making you feel dizzy, making you do stuff that you're not originally capable of. Now, what about those people, that husband and wife? The husband and wife, I personally believe, I mean, we all know that they are part of the cult, but also that Terry, the girl they adopted, I think there are three possibilities of why she died or she passed away. First, they got her killed. Second, she couldn't have that baby. Or third, they couldn't keep her the mother, right? That's the three possibilities. And they don't just tell people to go away. They have to kill the people so they won't tell their secrets to everybody. And that's exactly what's happening in Jeffrey Epstein. Why do you think Jeffrey Epstein got killed? Some people think that he's not killed, he's still alive, living. Some people think that he got killed, but people are still running his operation, which I personally believe is true, especially given the fact that pretty much every person in the United States government is a pedo, and the government is protecting the pedo. Even the president of the United States, Trump, is a pedophile. And so is all of those rich peoples. And this is, I think, a cult, and this movie explained the part of it. I think most of the things that we saw in that film are true. It had happened. We are seeing it. All those big rich people, they believe, they're superstitious. They believe in magic. They believe in rituals. And that's how they got the kick out of it. Because if you have this kind of money, I don't think that you got entertained by just watching matches. I think you have to go to the new low to be more depraved, to have interests in things that we can't even imagine. And I don't want to get into all of that. We all know that young people were involved, children were involved, and people were sacrificed for it, right? And all those conspiracy theories that people are saying that they are conspiracy theories have been, they're turning out to be true and the reality. So I think we don't have to take all of this by the grain of salt, and we have to do our own due diligence. This is happening, the world is real. And what about the guy who got killed? I'm talking about Hutchins. He got killed so that way nobody can know what their secrets were, because Todd Hutchins, he knew their secret, and as he was about to tell Mary the secret, cult got him. I think that's pretty much it. The story was pretty much what it was. I hope you liked the video. It's a pretty long ass video, and it took a lot of effort to make that video. So if you like what you saw, then comment down your thoughts would be appreciated. Tell me what you think about the cult, and do you think that I'm relating this film to what's happening right now? Do you think it made justice, or it had any connections to the previous film, or the topics that it explored? And what do you make of it, of Epstein Files and the parties that they've been attending? I would like to get your thoughts on it. Like the video, subscribe, because from now onwards I will be covering a lot of disturbing films from now. So if you like what you saw, then subscribe to the channel. Will really support me in continuing what I wanted to do. I hope you have a blessed day.